Hello and welcome back to the Right Within podcast. I'm your host, Michaela the Conscious Queen, and today's episode we have a special guest. This is one of my favorite people in the whole world. She's very intelligent and awesome and funny and very wise. So please welcome to the show my mom, Julie.
Hey, hi, hello everyone. I'm glad to be here on today's episode.
Thanks for coming. We're so happy to have you. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi. Well, I was introduced today as the conscious queen mother. So I must be the conscious queen.
Yeah, the first conscious queen.
Yes, and I'm here today to share a special topic today. And I've been your mom for 22 years and I work in the hospital. So that's basically about me.
Okay, and today's episode we'll be talking about how to master your emotions. Why is it important to master your emotions and be in control of how you feel? And what relationship does this have to our spirituality? And how can it make our lives better? So first, would you like to talk about like how to relate to your emotions, how you relate to your emotions? Are you somebody who is very emotional or not so much?
I would like to say first and foremost that we are all emotional beings, right? And a lot of times there might be circumstances that allow us to act out the emotions that we are currently experiencing. And I guess as a human being, that's only the natural sequence that we will follow. However, sometimes when we do follow these sequences, it turns out not to be in our best interest. So, this is why we are talking about today how to control some of the emotions that
Right.
we may experience that may be detriment to our situation.
Right. And just like getting a better handle over how we feel and our reactions to things, right? Because one thing that I've noticed is that um a lot of times things in our reality will happen and we have an emotion, right? Or we have a reaction. And so I guess today's episode we're just going to be talking about how to um control those emotions, how to react in the way that is most beneficial to your reality, right? Or most beneficial to like how you want to live, basically. So I first want to break down the word emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. So just always be consciously aware that your energy is like moving when you're feeling emotion. So it could be happy, you could be sad, you could be angry, you could be excited, you could be bored. Like there are so many emotions on the spectrum, like for humans. So I would say that's the really first important thing to know when it comes to your emotions, is that it is energy in motion. And we know that we can control how that energy is because it is coming from us, right? Like we are experiencing our emotions, so that therefore we can control our emotions. So I guess the first question from me to you is how, like in your life, how has situations popped up and you felt like your emotions were gonna get the best of you, but then you decided to like reel it back, or you decided to kind of step into the driver's seat and really like take control over how you feel?
That's a very, very, very good question. First, I like to say that this is a journey,
Right.
and you don't ought to none of us automatically doesn't know how to control your emotions. So I just want to say, like, when I was younger, and I had my little girlfriends around, you know, it's easy to get into the gossip, what's going on with people and talking about people and things like that.
Yeah.
And that's also putting energy out that's unnecessary, right?
Right.
And then when you get into the gossip, you get into the physical state of talking about people and putting out bad energy. So that's one aspect that I had to get over. And then when I got married to your father, he told me that I need to mind my business.
Okay, yeah.
So that helped me in some kind of way to get out of the gossip and things like that. But what I say most importantly, I had learned to manage my emotions when I started going to work.
Uh-huh.
And when I was working, there were certain situations that my manager would tell me to do, and I felt that it was unfair. And in an instance, I could have said, "Oh, I'm not going, I'm not doing it, it's not right." But then I thought, let me just go and do it.
Right.
And then when I return, I'll speak to my manager on the side. So I would go and do what I was instructed to do and come back. And then I told the manager, I did that task that you asked me to do, but I would like for you to do me a favor. I, I said to him, if there's anything that you would like me to do, I would prefer if you could pull me to the side and ask me to do it. And then he said, okay. So that's how one way that I manage my emotion.
Nice. So basically, like not giving it any power in the moment,
Right.
but revisiting it later on
Exactly.
when you're like chill and you don't want to like curse somebody out.
That's right.
Right. That's super powerful. That's really great. I actually had a similar experience to that too. Like so I'm in college, and there was a class that I was in, and it was an art class, and I wasn't in school for like a month because I was like sick. And I came back. This was like my first class back in a month, mind you. I haven't lifted a pencil. I haven't did any sort of artwork in a whole month. So we were just going over the what was it? Going over the like topic for the day, and I was drawing and drawing, and my drawing teacher was like, you should erase that and start over. And so I erased it and I start over, and then I did it again, and she said it again. She's like, start over. And then I started over again, and she did it again, and she was like, and I was at the point where I was like, oh no. Like I felt my emotions like arising, right? I felt like the anger.
Building up, yeah.
I felt like the anger building up. So you know what I did? I literally put down the pencil. Like as soon as she said that, I put down the pencil, got up, and I went the hallway and I took a whole walk. I just went for a nice long walk around the building because I didn't want my emotions to get the best of me, right? So I feel like those are two very powerful examples of why you should master your emotions and why you should kind of think about like the future, right? Not necessarily how you feel in the moment, but how you want to feel later on. So, another point that you did say that I really liked was about minding your business. You said my dad said that. So, what do you think like that has to do with like your emotions and being in control of how you feel?
Well, it's important because, as you said, emotions is energy in motion, right?
Yeah.
And if we are working on ourselves and working on being a better version of ourselves, we want to make sure that our environment is conducive to the goal that we want to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of times when we are in following other things that may not necessarily be pertaining to us, is taking away our focus.
It takes away our energy.
Yes, from what we want to accomplish in our own lives. And
Mm-hmm.
when you are busy or a busybody,
Mm-hmm.
talking about people, wanting to know what they're doing, and then rehearsing it with other people, is actually destructive because you're tearing some people down
Mm-hmm.
and you're hearing things that may not necessarily be true,
Right,
and
right.
you're circulating that. That in turn takes energy away from you and putting it into somewhere else that may not necessarily be true.
Exactly, right. So it's like you're kind of like with the negative energy, you kind of invite that into your own life as
Yes.
well when you talk
Yes.
about it so much, because we all know, like, in the law of attraction, whatever you like continuously talk about becomes your reality. So if whatever you say and you're talking bad about people, like, you're actually just talking bad about yourself. So
You bring the energy back to yourself.
exactly. So, can you give us like an example of what minding your business looks like, or just getting those emotions under control, like an example?
Sure. So, like, you could be at work and you hear something is going on with a coworker, and you want to be like, "Oh, I wonder what that is about." Da da da. I mean, you could wonder because you're a human being, and you may
Right, we
ask
have
a question
curiosity.
in your mind. But a good way to not to get into it, or a good way, is to not ask any questions.
Right, right,
Not
right,
ask anybody any questions, and not be around where it seems as if you're eavesdropping to hear
right,
what's
right,
actually going on.
right. Yeah, and just kind of just living in your own little world.
Yeah, and just be purposeful. Like, you could just go and see what work you have to do and just go and do it to remove yourself from the
Right,
situation.
right, right. Remove that energy. Right.
Or
So
take away yourself from the energy. Right.
right, the negative energy, right. So I have those are great. That's a great point that you said. Just removing yourself from the energy that is not going to be good for you,
Right.
basically. And so how can we use our positive energy, our positive emotions to manifest what we want in our life?
That's a good question. Okay. And being that we're on the topic of controlling our emotions, I think one stepping stone to help us to achieve that would be, if we have a situation, we have to be not reactionary. We have to be able to respond.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I have a health coach that she says we want to be proactive and not reactionary.
Right, right.
So I could react to the situation, someone insulted me or whatever, or I could just be like, how am I going to respond in this situation? And I could just say, well, if you think so, then that's what you think.
Right, right.
And that takes away power from what they're saying to me,
Exactly.
right? So when I diminish their power and I keep my power, I could harness that power and then focus on myself, on the things that I want for my life.
Yeah, so it's like basically giving it like zero energy,
Exactly.
right? Giving it no power. Like when somebody says something to you and it should get under your skin, but it's just like, hey, mm, I'm not gonna let it bother me. Like they're just being silly.
Yes, and that's a good point. So you could also change your perspective on what's actually happening to you, or what has happened to you. You just change the scenario, the scenes that happen, and that's how you harness more of your energy onto yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of looking at it in a way that is gonna be supportive to what you want to manifest, right? Like, like let's say for example, somebody's being mean to you, right? Like you could say, "Oh, of course she's mean to me," or "Of course he's mean to me because I got it." Because I'm doing my thing.
Yes, that's one way. Or you could also say, "What is this person doing? I don't know. I don't understand. I don't care about it."
Right, like kind of play dumb. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't care about it. I'm fabulous.
Right, like I'm fabulous. Like I'm great. Like I don't know what they're doing, but
Yes, exactly.
kind of just have this very like security within yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like that's why mastering your emotions is so important because it helps you to be more secure within who you are. Right. Because when you aren't secure, right, you're actually giving your power away. And you do that when you can't control your emotions, right? When something happens and you just spaz out, right? And you can't reel it in. So I feel like that's where the power comes in, is where you can reel it in and you can say, you know what? I'm just not gonna care. You make that
That is so
decision.
true. Like when you act like you don't care, like the impact of the situation greatly diminishes.
For sure. For sure.
Yes, it's important because that's one way of controlling your emotions. When you act like you don't care, you diminish the impact that it has on you or around you. And then, even though you may care, but you just act like you don't care.
And you just like kind of just let it be.
Yeah, and you just let it ride out for that moment or for those moments. And then eventually you come to a place of homeostasis within your mind, your emotions.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a really good point. It's just like achieving a state of balance within yourself and like feeling good most of the time. And how do we feel better in our lives? Like let's say that we've been through something challenging, or maybe what we're wanting is not happening right within, right in this moment. So how can we stay positive? How can we invoke those good feelings so that we can just live better, happier lives?
Great question. So, what you could do, as what we were saying before, you could ignore the situation and then you just ask within yourself, um, what is the answer to this situation? How can I have a better outcome of what's happening here? And the answer will eventually come because you're asking your higher self for those answers and those questions, and then you have to trust and believe that the answer will come. Another way to um, control your emotions is to do things that make you feel happy.
Right, right. Creating that joy for yourself.
Right? If you like taking a nice bath to soothe yourself from the rough day that you have, you do that. If you enjoy going for a walk, then you do that. If you enjoy hanging out with your friends, then you do that. You do what makes you feel happy.
Right, right. So that's how we get those good feelings going.
Exactly.
That's how we generate those good feelings. I feel like that's such a good point. Like just doing things that make you happy. I would say something else that kind of invokes good feelings. I say it's like really good music. And we had an episode on that. Check out that episode if you haven't checked out that episode, The Power of Music, with my friend Ton. It was a really powerful podcast, and we just spoke about how music can impact your mood as well. So I think that's one way. So yeah, listening to really good music can invoke good feelings, or reading good books, watching a funny movie, like a funny show or a comedy or something like that.
Or
And
dancing, you dancing, releasing those emotions that are kept in your body.
right, right.
Yeah, because the body is a center that holds emotions. So when we have these negative emotions, we want to release it. And dancing and exercise is a good way to release what's inside of you. And then, after exercising, you get these good feeling
The
hormones.
endorphins, yeah.
Yes, and that helps you to raise your vibration. Also prayer and meditation will help you greatly because it helps you to focus your mind on your breathing, on what's happening right now, and then during your meditation, you could focus on what you want to project in your life.
Yeah, so like just being more intentional with how you think, with what you say, what you do, with the I guess with the intention of feeling good. Right, with the intention of like, okay, I'm gonna do something that's going to make me feel better so I'm in a better position to manifest. Right. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really, really appreciate having you on here. Is there anything else you would like to say before we end?
I just want to say thank you for having me on your show today. I just want to say that this is an important journey in your lives. All those who are wanting to manage your emotions. It's a powerful mechanism and a powerful method, a way to control your life and to direct your life in a way that it wants to go.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for all of your wisdom, Mama Julie. Okay, Mama Conscious Queen. So, thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode. Next week, we will be talking about spiritual books that you can read that will help you along your journey, help you with stepping into your power and manifesting what you would like to see in your life. So, thanks, guys, and stay right within. Catch you next week.